I gotta love texting, okay? Pardon me, I'm old. I'm still like enthralled with technology, all right? I'm like, I can push these buttons and hit send and a message will go somewhere. You know, I mean, I'm excited about stuff like this. Because in the old days, I used to go back to the hotel room and we'd like have a scheduled time and I'd call and we'd get everybody on the line and I'd talk. Now it's awesome. I just like can text each one of my kids. They're teenagers. I text them and within 30 seconds, boop, I got a message back. I mean, it's amazing. This is good stuff. Now see, when I was a kid, we didn't each have cell phones. I know it's hard for you to believe. But see, we didn't have cell phones. If we wanted to communicate with someone, we had to use other means, all right? Now, like, when I was in class, for example, when I was in elementary school, and there was this girl named Siobhan. And she was across the classroom, and I wanted to communicate with her because we love communicating, you know? And I thought, I've got to express my feelings for Siobhan. So I used the method that, you know, we used back then. I pulled out a piece of paper, I pulled out a pen, and I began to write a note. That's right, that's what we did. We didn't text each other, we had to write a note. Now let me tell you something, notes have some advantages over texting. Here's why, because for example, when I wanted to write to Siobhan, I would start by writing that name, which is impossible to spell. How do you spell Siobhan? So I would write, Giovanni, I like you. Do you like me? If so, check this box. You can't draw a box on a cell phone, all right? You can't do that stuff. And then I would fold up the note, I would send it over to Siobhan, who would open it and say, my name is grossly misspelled. And then she would read the note, and when she was done with the note, all of a sudden, there was a dilemma. And see, girls always had to go through this dilemma, because when they would see a note like that, they're like, what do I do? Because let's just say that, hypothetically, Siobhan didn't like me. Hypothetically. Okay? Then she would all of a sudden have this decision to make. Do I just send the note back? Because if I send the note back, he's not going to know. Maybe he's going to think I never got the note. You know, is she supposed to pull out a return to sender stamp, you know, and send it back unchecked? Or a lot of women would do this at this point. They would actually draw another box and write no next to it and fill it in. Now, guys, you knew that was an epic fail if you force a girl to draw a parallelogram on your note, all right? That's bad stuff when that happens. But see, we would do notes all the time. Now, girls, they wrote notes a lot different than guys. Girls, they would pull out different colored pens. Click, click, red. Click, click, green. Click, click, blue. And they would write pages and pages, pouring out their feelings on these notes. And these were amazing. You'd get these. And then at the end of the note, they'd always sign it, sometimes hearts, sometimes little faces, X's, X's, O's. And then they would always include WB, which meant right back. Exactly. Some of you have passed notes. So they would do that. Or the desperate girl would say, PWB, please write back. And then guys, we'd get these notes and we would just read page upon page of them pouring their feelings. And I have to write back. So we would pour out all our feelings, fold the note, send it back to them. They would open up the note and read all our feelings. Cool. Write back. All right, there we go, you know. Now, another thing about notes was the folding of notes. See, some girl at one point realized that let's not just do this in a square. Let's take this corner, fold it down to this corner, making sort of a triangle, flip this over, fold it up, wrap the triangle around, creating sort of a pocket, and then tuck the triangle in, leaving the little tab out. And some girls would even, on this note, with the little tab sticking out, they would even draw an arrow to the tab, and they would write, pull. Which was really good because I know that there was guys everywhere that would get this note and be all, how do you open this? I mean, it's like a safe. It's a, pull. Oh, whew, you know. But I mean, this was note passing. And this is what we did because we loved communication. It's funny, we always seem to love communication. Nowadays, you've graduated to cell phones. Communication is so fun. As I text my kids, I'll text these big, long messages. I'll be like, hey, I miss you so much. It's so cool to see you. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow night, okay? And then I'll get this text message back. One letter. K. That was from the heart. Yeah. I mean, it could be like, I love you so much. It's so great. My heart's struggling a little bit. I got pains in my right arm. I'm thinking of going to the hospital. Okay. I mean, I just wonder if someday, my daughter, some guy's going to text her, will you marry me? Okay. But I mean, we love communicating. Whatever tool we use, we love it. We love communicating. It's as if we were created with this just desire to want to communicate with each other. Relationships are so important to us. Teenagers, it seems like all the time, what we want to do is we just want to sit around and hang out with each other. It's like the main thing we like to do. I mean, sure, there's sports, there's games, there's all kinds of fun stuff to do. But I mean, number one thing, just hang out with my friends. We love to just hang out and communicate with our friends. We love relationships. God, when He created us, some of the most important things to Him was our relationship with Him, our relationship with others. He just loves relationships. And you could tell because we love relationships and we love to communicate. The funny thing is, as much as we love communicating with each other, we text each other, we call each other, we love just hanging out with each other. As much as we love and are good at communicating with each other, very often, we aren't that good at communicating with God. When it comes to communicating to the very one who created us with this ability, this desire to communicate with each other, when it comes to us communicating with Him, listening to Him, talking to Him, sharing our feelings with Him, we find it difficult or awkward. And sometimes we kind of go into what we've learned ritualistically. We kind of, go back to the, what we've seen and, now I'm supposed to pray because that's what you do at this given time. Maybe for some of us it's like, well, maybe if God was like here and right in front of me, if we sat down at lunch, maybe then it would be like, I could just talk with Him because He's right there. And I could communicate. I'd probably have some good questions for Him. And I could talk if He was right there. And many of us, we don't even realize He is. He's right there and He wants to communicate with us. He wants us to communicate with Him. And we do it so well with each other. We communicate great this way, but sometimes there's just lousy communication this way.